Are addictions connected to demon possessions or entities possessing your human body? Yes, I believe so. And do the people that you associate with have an effect on what is entering your auric field and your space within your body? Yes. If you hang out, like there's an old saying, show me your friends and I'll tell you who you are. If you're with people who have addictions, let's just say, are incredibly overweight, more than likely you're going to gain weight hanging out with them. If people have an addiction to alcohol and little by little you start drinking with them, you're going to make that a habit. Someone's smoking cigarettes and they convince you to start smoking with them, you're going to start smoking. If someone's doing heroin and they talk you into it, if you keep hanging out with them, more than likely you're going to become a heroin addict or a gambler or a sex addict or whatever it is. It's like this energy likes attract. And it's almost as if a frequency that's very low, if your frequency's here and this frequency's here, it's like you'd think that they level out like this, and then but this one never comes up. What it is this one comes down. I mean, my experience has been, whenever I've been with someone with a serious addiction, I become depressed. I start getting just unproductive. I start feeling more critical. Almost as though my body becomes more unhealthy. And it's just a very, very interesting thing, because I've really realized the only way to really combat something that is an energy coming from the outside that's a lower frequency is to disassociate. Then you have to do a purification, whatever it might be. What I do is, first off, my mindset, how I look at things, my perception, to start looking at the positive part of it, the lessons, the growth, to not judge the person that's in this space of addiction, because they'll have their own personal growth and experience from whatever they've chosen to do. And you can't really rescue anyone. You can't, like, I've tried to rehabilitate alcoholics or gamblers or whatever. And usually what ends up happening, they turn and they attack you. I mean, it's just as simple as that. So you can't like make someone else like a happy person, like, oh, look at me, I'm so happy, I'm going to be a clown and lift you up. What happens is they start attacking you and say, oh, you're such an idiot, look at you, you're a dork, get in reality, blah, blah, blah. It's happened to me so many times. You always think you can fix the world. You can't. They have to fix themselves, and you have to protect yourself. So what I've done is remove myself from like the dark energy, the person that's battling the addiction or whatnot. And if you have addictions, to really take a good look at yourself and say, okay, I have this addiction. I have to get rid of it. I have to respect myself enough to get rid of it. And, I battled bulimia when I was 17 after my father died. And it was the hardest thing I ever stopped. I mean, and so many people that found out I did it were trying to help. But when I was doing it, I had like people that were also addicted to things. Like I had a girlfriend who was addicted to gambling, and it seemed like this misery loves company thing. And the first thing I had to do was get rid of the bad influences. And as hard as that was, I knew that I couldn't fix myself if I was around other broken people that weren't helping themselves. So it was a very tough road. It was 6 months of just dealing with a horrendous addiction I'd had for 21 years. So it was something I kept in the dark, and I never wanted to tell anybody. And now I gladly talk about it, because if it can help someone else, then it's something that I went through that good. Maybe it can be useful for someone else. But what I've noticed also is that you can still attract brokenness if I've always been a person that loves animals and love to help animals and rescue animals, and I was always a good teacher. I gave riding lessons, roller skating lessons, skiing lessons, swimming lessons. I was very athletic always, so um, I'm very good with children. So I think being around animals and children always kind of rebirthed that child within me. But the adult relationships I've had in my life, a lot of them have let that child within them die. So um, it's hard to be childlike and playful with someone who's let that child just wither away. And I think that what is that when people let that child die? Is that an entity? Is that a darkness that takes over that says, okay, I'm going to drive this vehicle and there's no room for joy and bliss and like a childlike innocence in this space, this vehicle that I've taken over? Because that's what it felt like when I was bulimic. It felt like something was driving my vessel. And it really did feel like a blob entered my body. And it happened when I was really depressed after my father died. I was in such a depression, and then I had such an abusive mother that I mean, the home was obviously possessed because there was always weird footsteps in the night and lights flicking on and off and like steps going up and down the steps in the basement and cupboards opening, closing. It was really creepy. But I think that was somehow, my mother was so afraid of the dark and so mortified of like the darker energies. And I think it came from when she was younger. Her first husband died, and she said that he haunted her, and she had all these horrible experiences. So, when I was young, it seemed to me that this definitely was a real thing, and it's in the Bible. People getting exorcisms and things like that. So I think it's something that's really been kind of like hush hush. People don't talk about it, and I think like when you see these exorcisms, like with evangelicals saying heal, it almost looks comical because I don't believe that anyone can remove an entity and keep it out. That's just a joke. It's an inside job. You have to purify your vessel. You have to do the cleaning. You have to keep your vibration at a high place. So you don't just keep letting stuff come in, because this world is a polarity. It's a yin and a yang. It's the balance. So, you can't sit here and be watching pornography and then think that, oh, I don't have darkness attached to me. You're like way playing with a dark energy as being addicted to heroin or alcohol or cigarettes or violence or anything. I mean, it's just you are teetering like way into the heavy, and this light energy is here. I mean, the whole thing is keeping it balanced. So it's a dance. It's learning to be challenged and letting it, like when you work out your muscles, you burn the lactic acid and it hurts and the muscle hurts, but from that there's growth. A diamond starts out as coal, and it's the pressure that turns it to a diamond, and tons of, gold being purified through fire. I mean, there's so many examples on this planet of the alchemical process being through pressure, to pop everything up to a higher frequency. So all of us have our own personal experiences, whether you want to admit it or not. I mean, money has nothing to do with it. You can be a very wealthy person and be obese. You can be a very beautiful person but be super insecure. You can have all the talent in the world expressing like beautiful music or something and be addicted to drugs. So I think that, I mean, gosh, just the other day I was talking about beautiful Whitney Houston. Just love Whitney Houston. And when she got with Bobby Brown, you could just see her decline. Farrah Fawcett, another one, she got with Lee Majors, and just after these relationships with Lee Majors and Ryan O'Neal, you just saw this beautiful, beautiful butterfly just plummet, and by the end, she was just a different person, still beautiful. I mean, Farrah Fawcett was such a beautiful, sweet soul, as Whitney Houston was too. And I believe they always are, but you can just feel like when some people get attacked with something, and then suddenly there's an addiction. Elvis Presley, another one, went into the military. They gave him uppers and downers, and he came out an addict. And you just saw the plummet of this beautiful, beautiful person. So I think that doesn't matter, rich, poor, talented, beautiful. Everyone has their challenges. So how are you going to have the strength and the perception and the ability to protect yourself and not be waiting for someone to rescue you? To do the work, be strong, take one day at a time, and drink water, eat healthy living foods, lots of vegetables, lots of fruit, lots of nuts and seeds. Don't nuke your food. You kill all the DNA in the food. Keep your thoughts clean. Wish the best on everyone. Pray for other people. Pray for yourself. Addictions are the big thing that you have to conquer. Yeah, not conquer, overcome. You have to become stronger through the addiction. Become stronger. Do not ever let cigarettes overtake you, alcohol overtake you, sex overtake you, coveting and hoarding and things like that. It just allow that freedom of movement. Have an appreciation for the earth and all that it's bringing for us every day. And giving the sun, everything. We're made up of all these elements of sun and water and minerals and such. So to have this appreciation of what our body is giving us in every moment, just functioning, all these cells working together 24/7. So to honor all that. So that's kind of what's helped me. But I think astral attacks and entities are always looking for a vessel. And if you are playing with addiction, you are going to attract these entities. You will be taken over. It's not an if, it's just a when. And it's until you really clean up your act and say, I am strong enough to clean my vessel and keep it pure, keep my thoughts pure, be happy, be childlike, and also have the wisdom, because I think that's what age gives you. It gives you the ability to have the inner child, but also walk with the wisdom and a gentleness and a beauty within yourself, to know that you're made of light. And the light in your eyes is that light of your soul. Honor that. Honor that always. Okay, well, have a beautiful day. Just wanted to share this. This is what I woke up with in my heart, so I wanted to put it out there. Okay, much peace and love. Bye-bye.